Okay, this will be a trade recap for Monday, July 7th, 2025. Today's the first day back from a week off, and looking at the market, we're in kind of a weird spot above these previous all time highs. So, my plan pretty much was as long as we're above this previous all time high, I'm looking for longs into a test of this new all time high. My main watch was this 6.315, 6.320 for a break and retest. And then to the downside, I was looking for a break of this level first to see if there was any weakness to hold um, for downside. So looking at the market, we open up. Price starts pretty aggressive and then really slows down, kind of starts to balance out. And then um, at right before 10 at 9:50, we start to test that high of day and we break it. And that's where I get my first entry. So I got a long right here at 6307.75. I want to look at the tape. Yeah, got in at 9:53. So we get this big aggressive push, breaks our level, aggressive retest, and I get in kind of on this buying that starts to come in off of the selling, and I will say I don't like this entry. In hindsight, I should have definitely waited for more entry to develop. Right down here was a very good entry. That aggressive pullback got defended by the bid, and buying came in. That's the ideal entry. Instead, I got in up here a little bit higher than I should have. Um, yeah, but that got stopped out after a few minutes. I then tried it again at 10, which got quickly stopped out. So I get back in here at 10. We get this large aggressive seller into this bid defended. Buying starts to come off. I get in and I'm quickly stopped out. So now we're moving on from that trade. This is when the sell-off starts to happen, and it sucks to lose two times like that, but it's fine. I moved on. First entry was not the best. I got to learn from that. Got to be more patient, but I can't be too mad about a mistake after a week off. It's gonna happen, and I'm just glad it didn't cost me more or turn into anything worse. Or where can't think of the word. I'm trying to say like worse or not as I don't even know, but anything worse than it was. Sorry, that made no sense. All right, so we get that rejection. I'm 0 for 2 now. Now I'm kind of looking for, since price did reject at this high of day, I'm now looking at this as kind of a lower time frame balance. So what I was watching for was a failed breakout attempt of this balance low. So you can see I get in at 10:04 on this break and then reclaim, because as you can see there is a large sell-off past that level, doesn't get much follow-through, and then very aggressive buying comes in and brings price right back into this balance range. So I get long in here, I get stopped out. Stopped out after a few minutes, and then I got in again, as you can see. Um, on this move, we had similar confirmation, another failed break. I wanted to give it one more chance. This is at 10:15. Aggressive break. Aggressive selling breaks a level, comes down, doesn't get too much follow through, and then we start to get that buying coming in after. And I got in at 10:15, I believe. No, 10:16. So I get in with this aggressive buying coming in, and I get a little bit of a push. I was targeting first a break of this 6302 area, and then I was looking to target this range. So I got about a third of my position out on this break, and then the rest did get stopped out at break even, or I mean stop loss, I should say. There's entry. Getting out a third of my position. stopped out. And then that brings me to my final trade, which I'm in right now, just in a runner. Looks like it almost got stopped out there, but we're still in. So I did end up taking a short when this second failed break failed to fully play out and reach those highs. Started seeing some resistance at that old balanced low, and then so I was still in my failed break setup from this entry here, and then when this aggression comes in and stops me out, that's when I start to look for a break and retest of this balanced low, which was drawn up here. Now I'm gonna put it for this trade. I was watching down here. I was kind of watching the 95s to 93s. So we get that aggressive break, retest up here. This is when I get my entry short. Let's see, at 10:54. So yeah, aggressive break of that balance low, aggressive retest, gets defended. This is where I'm short. Stop holds, get a push in the low of day, retest, start consolidating. This starts to develop kind of a red flag for me when this buying, or selling I should say, gets absorbed by the bid. So as you'll see in a minute, that's where I start to scale out some of my position. Then we get this dump, which runs into some of my targets. And then my runner, which I was looking for a push into the 6 to 80s, just got taken, which I'll show. All right, entry. Started to scale out some. Getting more out at my target area. And then yeah, that one just got hit right at break even. Overall, tough day. Definitely a hard market to read. Tough after a week off as well. But not too mad. I made some mistakes. I'm gonna learn from it. Can't be perfect every day. And part of trading is being able to accept loss and just be okay with not being perfect and not needing to make money every day, because that's just not feasible. So gonna be done there, move on and learn from it. Okay, this will be another update for Monday, July 7th. I ended up taking a few more trades. So after I was in that last short position, I ended up getting stopped out, and then the market hit a massive dump right into this previous all-time high level, which I was watching from my pre-market plan. And what I noticed was very aggressive selling into this level, and then it got bought up. So I wanted to start looking for longs for a retracement into first the 6280 and then like the 6286, 6290 area. So looking at the tape at 12:15, we get that massive drop and then some really aggressive buying off of it. And I got an entry at 12:24. We get this super aggressive buying. Get this retest. I get an entry at, let's see exactly, 72.75, right up here on this move. Get stopped out. And then I got another entry in here at 67s. Started seeing an aggressive pullback holding, got in on that buying, and we got that push up. So here's that first entry that I got stopped out on. I did trade less size on this because the volatility was much higher. Then I got in back in there, and then here's my exits. Wasn't looking for too much. That was a trailing stop hit there. And then as price was retesting down here. I wasn't originally interested in a long, but I was really looking for a break and retest to the downside or for a reclaim of the 6280s. But I did notice that price started to really consolidate down here, and I got some good confirmation, which I'll show in a minute. But with this being a super key level, higher time frame being and a previous all-time high, and with it holding on that initial push, and then this kind of potential lower time frame balance forming, if we can bounce from this level, those two things in combination with this confirmation are really what led me to getting the long. And I wouldn't have gotten in this without this confirmation. So this is really key. This is the cherry on top for this setup. Okay, here at 106 is when I got long, but you can see this whole consolidation period, right in here, this whole consolidation at the key level, these sell-offs are getting absorbed. And on this sell-off right here, I decided to put on some risk when I saw buying coming in, and it ended up working out in my favor, getting a nice push into what would be this lower time frame balance high if it decides to balance out, which, as you can see, it currently is. So yeah, I caught a nice little long there. So I was really targeting first a break of this consolidation, break of the 70s into this like 7680 area. So I got a few scale outs just on this break of the 70 area, and then started getting out more in my target zone up here. This was a trailing stop loss hit, which this move right here got super close to a limit. I think it was 2 ticks away, so that's unfortunate. And then my runner got hit for a few points in profit. So still a little bit red on the day, but traded this action pretty well. Went 2 for 3, made some money back. All right. Monday, July 7th, I ended up taking 2 more trades. The first one was a little short right here, where it looks like I took 2 trades because I accidentally placed a trade when I was looking for this entry, and I had my finger on the sell trigger. I accidentally pressed it a little bit early and I had to close it. That was the 55 entry. So I lost about a point on that, which is, sucks. I don't know the last time I've done that. Just stupid, but it happened. But I got my real entry here at 54.25 and got out of, I believe, 2/3 of my position. Yes, 2/3 of my position down here at the lows. And the other third, I was looking for a continued push down, which we didn't get, and stopped those out on the way up for just small profits on this one and then break even here. We'll get into the reason for that trade real quick. So the market had reclaimed below this previous all-time high, which was a key watch for me for shorts. I didn't really get in on this break and retest opportunity. It was pretty hard to catch. You can see that wick though, that's where the retest occurred. But when this continued move had happened, I had marked out a level here from, 1 second, about the 60s to the 55s. Or actually, no, I had it marked out right here to the 57s to that low, but if I look at my plan, right here, I said I at least need a pullback into 6255, talking about for a short entry. So we get that pullback, strong pullback right here into 6255, and let's get the confirmation. There's this super aggressive break of the level. Buying comes in, retests, gets right up to this level, starts to slow down. Honestly, not insane confirmation here besides just the level being tested perfectly and this buying starting to slow down. Selling comes in and that's where I get short. And I already said how that played out. Got out 2/3 of my position on this push. The rest hit stop loss, trailing. And that was it for that trade. Then price reclaimed above this previous balance high. So at that point, we'll look at my plan. Where'd it go? I said retesting 6265. If we can reclaim the strength, I want to look for longs. So I actually said that when this was happening, we reclaimed the strength, had an aggressive pullback, price started to slow down. This is where I get my entry. Price starts to slow down, buying starts to come in a little bit. I get long. Smaller position size because one, I wanted to give this room to breathe, and two, being power hour, I don't usually trade at the end of the day, and I'm trying to get into it more if there's valid setups. So I just didn't want to put too much risk on the table, and then I wanted to give it room to breathe. So had to sit through all this chop. I wanted to cut this early so many times. I wanted to get out and protect myself, but I trusted my plan, trusted my stop loss down here, and we eventually got this nice big push where I got out most of my position. By the time this push happened, I had lowered my targets. Initially, I wanted to wait for at least the 6270s to hit, but when price was down here testing these lows, I had put some limit orders in at these wicks just to protect myself. With what I just said, being power hour, I'm not used to trading it, especially with this really crappy action. This kind of turns me into a very protective scalper mindset. But yeah, that's ended up getting that average price 68.7 on all of that, which isn't even just above 3 points, so not even that great. And then the final contract was taking its a running stop loss I had placed pretty much just at this high when we were breaking. But that's a pretty good scalp to end the day. Like I said, I don't have much experience trading power hour, but I handled it well today. And yeah, that was a pretty solid session. Little mistake there, shouldn't have accidentally took that just a execution mistake. And then this was a little bit iffy up here, a bit premature of an entry, but besides that, we had a really solid day. Adapted to the flows, caught lots of moves, short and long, and ready for tomorrow.